So we've gone through 4 generations of Pokemon by this point. What we went through is what many consider to be the classic era of Pokemon. The overall formula remained the same, the story pattern, etc. So moving forward, we're now in what's called the modern era, where things begin to change. And oh boy, do these two bring in a lot of change. Pokemon Black and White were released in 2010 on the Nintendo DS, towards the end of the console's lifespan. But how well do these games hold up? Do they bring new life to the franchise? And how well do they compare with the other games overall? Let's find out. It comes as no surprise that these games were meant to reboot the series. A lot of new things were introduced. Because of the success of Diamond and Pearl, Game Freak decided to try a lot of new things, the most prevalent one being the target audience. By this point, Pokemon has been around for almost 15 years, so fans of the original games Red and Blue have grown up by now, and so Black and White aimed for an older audience. Before we get into that, let's talk about the general new things. By far the most amount of Pokemon have been released in this gen, now 156, more Pokemon than the original games. The graphics look absolutely stunning, with more 3D-like features, and Pokemon and character sprites that were more animated. They went all out with the aesthetics this gen. More connectivity features were introduced through Nintendo Wi-Fi. Again, RIF. Such as the Sea Gear, the Dream World, and the Intralink. These made connecting with players around the world so much fun. To go along with the graphics update, seasons were introduced. Like the day and night cycle, seasons affect the overworld, but this time to a greater extent. Some areas can only be accessed during certain seasons. The music may vary, and some Pokemon may or may not appear. Deerling, a new Pokemon in this generation, and Sawsbuck, its evolution, change forms based on the season, which is kinda a cool thing. On the technical side of things, triple and rotation battles were introduced, adding a different type of battling. TMs are no longer single use, thank Arceus. And probably one of the best parts of these games is that you only need 1 HM for one moment in the story. After that, you don't need them. Holy frick, we went from needing 8 of them to only needing 1. What a freaking miracle. Having gone through all this, let's move on to the story. As I mentioned earlier, Black and White are geared towards older audiences, while still retaining that Pokemon standard we all know and love. It gets a lot deeper though, with a story of truth and ideals, and deciding on which one is the right one to follow. Team Plasma, the main evil team this time around, aims to free Pokemon from their Pokeballs. But there's so much going on that not only is there another side to Team Plasma, but also to other characters as well. Heck, the champion isn't even the main story goal. It's N, the king of Team Plasma, who's trying to figure out his set of truth and ideals after being raised in such an isolated world. And you, the player, are meant to clash with his truth and ideals, with the opposing legendary dragon at your side. And the characters are just so memorable. In previous games, you would just fight the gym leaders and say, see you later. Here, holy Arceus, they help you fight against Team Plasma. Like they show up at the end. Even Sharon and Bianca, who, admittedly, at least Sharon fights you a little too often, your rivals have more depth to them. With Sharon trying to figure out whether or not becoming the strongest is the best, and Bianca, who's trying to figure out what's the best thing to do in her life. And N? Holy frick, man. So there are a lot of great things about Black and White. Even the visual differences between versions are just stunning, giving a unique experience. And so, they're really, really great games. Wait, why are you still here? I told you my review. Go on. You can go. Oh, you want me to talk about the bad things? I suppose. A lot of people hated Black and White when it first came out, and for one main reason. No older Pokemon are available through the main story. Not even Pikachu. Yeah, that's a real shocker, but honestly, I kinda like it. It forces you to use new Pokemon. Each new gen, I try to build a team just with new Pokemon, so not everyone minds it. Some do, but hey, it gets you to use new Pokemon. But it did get blown out of the water too much, causing a lot of people to try to find bad things, like the Pokemon designs. honestly. I think the only other two complaints I have is that you can't really access the entire region during the main story. Like, half of Unova is just isn't available. You only get to go through one side of Unova, and you're going through in a linear fashion, which kinda sucks. But hey, it makes for a decent post-game. And lastly, gets his Hydreigon. Yeah, that illegal thing that tries to kill me. God, you're so much worse than Lance and his 3 illegal Dragonites. So yeah, Black and White are really great games. Since there currently are no remakes for these two, go play them. Do it. Now that that's done, I can go on to more relaxing and playing my favorite... Oh frick!